Welcome back to AM News. Well, SchoolMedia is an initiative to greening South African schools. It has led to over 4,500 trees being planted, providing learners with a better learning environment. The work was also previously disadvantaged schools, and the schools don't benefit monetarily but are given a catalogue to select some of the things they need to keep the schools running efficiently. For example, stationery, electricity, tools, as well as outdoor equipment, cleaning equipment, kitchen facilities and beverages. For more on this, we are joined in studio by Khethi Ngwenya, Managing Director of SchoolMedia, as well as the founder of SchoolMedia. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Essentially, tell us more about SchoolMedia and how it started.
Good. So I started the business in 2010, and the aim was to get the right information to schools. But when I started going to schools, I realized that the schools almost looked like deserts, and there was no trees and there was no grass. So I started an initiative rather than just marketing to schools, but also getting them to be green. So we partnered with various corporates and also started initiatives that when the students keep the schools clean and green, they do benefit things like movie tickets from different corporates that sponsor, and then the school governing body gets to go on a team building conference, so they get to win that to encourage the schools to become green and clean. So SchoolMedia is a youth marketing company. We've got access to advertising rights in 9,000 schools across South Africa, and then part of the revenue then goes back to uplift the schools in a form of development. So what I was saying, further than just the greening, we help the schools with day-to-day facility needs that they need, such as could be tools for the garden tools, or uniform for the staff. So they get a catalogue because from the revenue generated from advertising, we help uplift the schools that we work in.
So how essentially does it work? Are students involved in it? Are there programs that students get involved, or kids at schools? How essentially does it work?
Sure. So we have various initiatives. So we work with corporates. Usually when corporates want to do initiatives in schools,
okay,
then depending on the program, it could be a fitness program that we run with Fanta, and then the kids are active and also hand over a curriculum kit that they can use on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, tell us about some of your success stories.
I think sitting here is a success. So, I mean, there's a lot of success stories, I guess. I've been in the business for 8 years now.
How old are you?
26. So I've been in business for 8 years, so I guess that's a success. I went over the first few years, and I guess I'm running a business, and we've got staff. It's an ongoing business. It was our first year this last December that we had staff actually working through December.
So you've been doing this for 8 years, you're 26. So as an 18-year-old, what inspires you to do something that is quite big for an 18-year-old?
Well, I wanted to get the right information to youth, and part of that was I've looked at different ways of getting that right information, and I realized magazines would be too much. It would be too much print. It would be very expensive. So I came across frames, and I decided that why don't I put frames in the school corridors, and when you go into class you can see those frames, whatever's on those frames. So around the school building, so that's basically where we where we have space, advertising space around the school walls and in the bathrooms, in the tuck shop. So we place material related to the space around there.
Now, how is SchoolMedia actually empowering schools that are based in townships or rural areas that don't necessarily have access to, internet or?
So majority of the schools are township schools that we work with, because that's where we feel the information is needed. And they are benefiting that we put where there was no information or where there was no competition or any initiatives running, and there comes something on the wall. Here comes a corporate coming with various sports kits or different initiatives. So I mean, it's actually getting corporates to do something and finding them the space to actually do it. So,
what do you think were some of your main challenges over the years, and challenges that you still have now?
The main challenges, I mean, it's getting more people to use the space and actually believe in the space. So getting corporates to use SchoolMedia as an initiative, because some people just do one school, an initiative in one school, and they think there's enough. There's 27,000 schools in South Africa, and we have access to 9,000 through the National Association of School Governing Bodies. So we actually can we're helping to regulate the space that not everybody's doing a lot of stuff. You find that a lot of corporates go and do kitchens in schools, and it's really, do the schools actually need those kitchens? Some of them don't even need it. So people are actually dumping in the township schools. That's to use the word. They always think people need this, and it's not necessarily the case. So we're just helping regulate the space, that helping them to get the right things that they actually need.
As a 26-year-old, where do you see school media in the next 10 years?
I see us working closely more closely with government, and more closely with various school governing body associations, and school media being a platform for marketing. So when marketers want to know how do you reach the youth market, you go through school media. That's
and essentially what they want and what they actually need.
Exactly.
Definitely. Thank you very much for joining us here this morning. That was Khethi Ngwenya, a Managing Director at School Media on AM News.